prove yourself. If your target resists your seduction, you probably haven't gone far enough to allay her doubts. She might not be sure of your motives and feelings. One action that shows how much you care is enough to eliminate any doubts she may have, as long as it is done properly and at the right time. The sister of Napoleon Bonaparte, Pauline, had affairs with many different men. To put an end to this, Napoleon married her off to Prince Camillo Borghese, but this only multiplied her affairs. She, in fact, started an affair with Major Jules de Canoville, and just like with every other man, everyone believed this would only last a couple of weeks. A few days after the affair started, she began having toothache. A dentist arrived to Pauline's to remove the tooth, but when she saw all the different tools the dentist was about to put in her mouth, she refused to let him remove it. Canoville tried to encourage Pauline to let the dentist do his job. A moment or two of pain, and it's over forever. Her response, "I'd like to see you do it." Without any hesitation, Canoville walked over to the dentist and told him to remove a perfectly good tooth in the back of his mouth. Canoville didn't make a sound. Pauline was shocked. After seeing Canoville's sacrifice, not only did she let the dentist remove her tooth, but she actually began falling for Canoville. The affair lasted weeks, and Napoleon was displeased. It was embarrassing to have his married sister fool around with another man. Napoleon sent Canoville to Spain for weeks, hoping that Pauline would forget about him by then. Canoville came back as soon as he could, but he was only able to spend a brief time with Pauline because Napoleon sent him right back. He was gone for months, but when he came back, the affair resumed. Canoville was later sent to Germany and then Russia, where he died bravely in battle. He was the only lover Pauline ever waited for, and the only one she ever mourned. It is common to have your victims suddenly pull back. They might start to wonder what your true intentions are. Perhaps all you want is sex or someone to boost your ego. Pauline was always on guard because she believed men only wanted her for sex or perhaps for some political favor. Canoville was different. He not only sacrificed his tooth, but his career for her. He was the only man who ever made her feel genuinely desirable. In return, she wanted to keep him hooked, so she remained loyal to him, something unusual of her part. Canoville's sacrifices transformed Pauline into a faithful lover. Do that. Sacrifices stir massive amounts of emotions in people. Mix pleasure with pain. Being too nice is a mistake. Kindness might be charming at first, but it soon becomes unexciting. It makes you seem insecure, as if you're trying too hard to please. Try inflicting some pain every now and then. To hook the desired person, make them go through a wide range of emotions. Shower them with attention, and then take it away. Then return, and then leave once again. Make them feel guilty and insecure, only to make them feel desired later. The lower the lows you create, the greater the highs. The emotional roller coaster. Emotions are addictive. This can be seen in the 19th century novel Woman and Puppet by Pierre Louis, when a 38-year-old man named Don Mateo Diaz falls for a young girl named Conchita Perez. Conchita is a poor girl that approaches him on the street and offers to sing him a song in exchange of cash. He accepts and ends up intrigued. The song was somewhat suggestive. Don Mateo walks her home and learns that she's a virgin, which arouses him even more. He pays her a visit the next morning, and Conchita, innocent as she seemed, sits in his lap and kisses him. He returns the kiss, but she jumps up and blames him for taking it too far. Don Mateo apologizes and leaves feeling puzzled. She started it all. Why should he feel guilty? But nonetheless he did. At this point, Don Mateo could not stop thinking about her. Over the next couple of days, Don Mateo behaved and began buying her gifts. Conchita started to feel so comfortable around him that she would sometimes even dress in front of him. Obviously, this excited him, driving him to go for a kiss only to be pushed by her. To try to make it up to Conchita, Don Mateo decides to buy her a place of her own, but she accuses him of trying to buy her love. She sends him a letter, telling him that they will never see each other again. Desperately, Don Mateo runs to her place to try to fix everything, but it was too late. She was no longer there. Her absence triggers a fantasy in him that makes him believe she was the love of his life. After a couple of very depressing months, Don Mateo hears Conchita excitedly calling his name in the street. She tells him that she felt afraid of his intentions and of her feelings, but she was ready to be his. Don Mateo feels happier than he ever has, and takes her home. They begin to kiss and undress. But just when Don Mateo starts to believe he is the luckiest man in the world, he notices some sort of chastity belt that won't come off. Conchita tells him that she wants to do everything with him except losing her virginity. This maddens Don Mateo, so he tells her to leave. Over the next couple of weeks, Don Mateo sees Conchita flirting with other men. The thoughts of another man ending up with Conchita terrorized him. He was addicted to her. Surprisingly, Conchita later invited him to spend the night with her and even sleep by her side as long as he promised to behave. The problem was, she decided to sleep naked due to the heat. At this point, Don Mateo loses it. He tells her to give him what he wants or never see him again. Conchita starts to cry and tells him how tired she felt of acting against her emotions. She wanted to be her mistress and agrees to let him buy her a place this time. Blinded by his feelings, Don Mateo does as she asks. The next morning, he excitedly arrives to Conchita's new place, but when he does, she acts like a completely different person. Through the bars of the door, she tells Don Mateo to kiss her hand, her foot, and then her skirt. He complies, but once he's done, she tells him to leave. He was shocked, and his expression makes Conchita laugh. She tells him he repulsed her. All she wanted from him was the house, and now she had it. She no longer needed anything from him. A man appeared behind her and they began to have sex right in front of Don Mateo. She ridiculed him. The next morning, Conchita walks over to his place to see if he had committed suicide. He hadn't, but he felt so angry that he slapped her so hard she fell to the ground. He was about to sleep with her by force, but he stopped when she began to cry. Conchita told Don Mateo that she faked the sex the day before, and she could now see how much he loved her. She was finally ready to be his, and to his surprise, Don Mateo discovered that she was indeed still a virgin. Conchita teaches us how to make someone our slave. The way to do it is by stimulating as many emotions as possible. She sparks guilt in Don Mateo for trying to buy her love, makes him mourn her loss by disappearing, provokes happiness by reappearing, and later triggers jealousy and humiliation. She finally gives rise to an intense joy by giving him her virginity. Each low creates enough space to generate extraordinary highs, making each high a lot more pleasurable. We tend to appreciate positive events a great deal more if we just experience something awful. A near-death experience makes us love life like never before. Just like Conchita, make your victim miserable and give an end to the feeling by evoking pleasure. Master the art of the bold move. Be patient. If you begin to show impatience, the other person will feel disappointed. This is because impatience reveals that you're being driven by your desire for sex and not by the victim's charms. For this exact reason, take your time. A longer seduction feeds the target's pride, and it will make your bold move a lot more pleasurable. When it comes to patience, however, it's important to understand that if the reason why you're taking so long to act is because you fear being rejected, she will be able to tell, and she will lose attraction. Insecurity is extremely unattractive, and if you manage to get this far only to make things awkward, you will lose your value and she will no longer respect you like she used to. Confidence is key. This is not the time to be timid. You might think that timidity is respectful, but it's not. Timidity signals selfishness. You're only thinking of yourself and feel worried of how the other person sees you. Obviously, the target's glamour isn't what's driving you. Timidity might be good in other social situations, but not in seduction. Uncontrollable boldness, however, is also bad. Use it when you're certain that the other person is attracted and ready. To find out if you successfully engage the other person, notice the signs. Is she mirroring you? Are her friends telling you how great she is? Is she constantly trying to get close to you, but nervous when around you? She might be trying to make you jealous. All these signs reveal that she's interested, at least to some degree. Once you can tell she has fallen for you, you have two choices. One is to make your move when expected. Lean in for the kiss, take her home, ask her out. Do what you gotta do. If you read the signs correctly and she is indeed interested, your move will be received. You are being bold. The problem is, there's nothing special about your move. It's exactly what she's expecting, and it's what most guys would do. It won't be as gratifying and it won't be as memorable. Don't be surprised if she loses interest in you afterwards. In short, this works if you don't intend to keep the target interested. The other alternative is to make your move a surprise. This will make it have a much greater effect on the victim. A surprise adds tension and uncertainty, and it makes your bold move a lot more special. When you're in that situation, ask yourself, is it obvious that I'm about to make a move? If it is, wait. Strike when they are not expecting it. Making them wait might sound manipulative, but in reality, you're giving them a very pleasurable experience, as long as you don't make them wait for nothing, something that the book is not suggesting. Don't misinterpret this. The bold move should come as a pleasant surprise, but not too much of a surprise. The other person must like you and the timing should be appropriate. Never attempt to make your move if it isn't, even if you're certain that she likes you. You're sure to be rejected and you will end up like an idiot. Be respectful to your victim. To add even more tension, add some drama. You might be alone in a room in a house that is filled with people. Someone might see you. Don't plan your bold move. If it's calculated, it won't come off as genuine. Let your intuition and your desire for your target guide you in the moment.